So Dan, we just finished our coverage of the Microsoft press briefing.
We did.
What'd you think?
I thought for the second straight year it was pretty underwhelming.
There wasn't a lot of totally new stuff there, the way you kind of would like to see at a press briefing.
I wouldn't say there's any big surprise at all. I mean, did they even they announced kind of those world premieres of Loco Cycle or Matter, which they didn't really show anything of. But other than that, the big ones were Black Ops, which was the same mission I saw, a couple months ago and we wrote about.
Right.
That's been out there. And then Halo, they started pretty strong with the new Halo
The
stuff.
Halo 4 stuff was cool. They had that live action trailer thing that I think was kind of showing off the direction multiplayer is going to be going. And they kind of seamlessly tied it in with campaign, which I thought was a smart idea to indicate that there's kind of going to be connections there going on. And then we got to see some actual gameplay down on this crazy new planet with Master Chief running around in first person, and we saw the new enemy types, which presumably are some variation on the Forerunners now.
That's what those weapons are. Those new weapons were Forerunner.
Well, right. We've never seen the actual Forerunners in person in any of the games. They've been in some of the novels and everything. But these are either actual Forerunners or some weird offshoot mechanical variation of them or something. But they were pretty cool looking new enemies. They kind of had drones that popped out of their back and flew around and attacked from the air. And
weird skull, fire skull things.
Right.
Yeah.
And they were warping around the battlefield. All stuff was pretty cool. So yeah, I thought Halo 4 was pretty good showing.
It was a good way to start the show, I think, but then they went right back to the well of just shoving Kinect down our throats, which they want us to care about it so much, and I have not seen. I own one. I bought one at launch, and I just don't play it. And every time I see that they're focusing on Kinect during these press conferences, I'm just just show me real games, show me things I'm gonna get excited about.
For sure.
Dance Central, okay, I got it. Fitness thing, okay, if it works, that's great. But
right, we did get a new Dance Central. That was one of the, I guess you could say, big announcement. Dance Central is a big property for them, even if it's maybe not a total big core game. Dance Central 3, I guess their big celebrity inclusion is Usher. They had a big performance by him, which was sort of interesting. We did see something we knew about, but most of the world didn't know too much about, was Gears of War Judgment.
Yes, we did we've got our coverage for the whole month, basically. It's our current cover. So,
yeah, totally.
I just put up the hands-on of the multiplayer mode, the new Overrun mode, so you can check that out. Not you. But
check it out.
Yeah, they didn't show much, and actually, the trailer they showed was different than the one they showed us when we were at Epic that they were planning on. So, I don't know if they kind of changed their plans on what they want to show, but we'll have a lot more information about the game coming up.
I actually think probably in retrospect, a year from now, one of the biggest announcements that will have come out of this show is this smart glass stuff. Smart glass is the idea that basically you're going to take your phone or your tablet, and take your iPad or whatever, and use it to control stuff on your 360. And so it's both going to be related to game stuff, where you're actually going to be able to draw plays in Madden or something like that, but also just for fundamentally controlling the Xbox.
Or browsing the web. You use your tablet in conjunction with Kinect to browse the web, which is kind of interesting.
That was a big announcement in and of itself, is that if it works well, this will finally be a browser on a console that will let people connect to the internet and find things. And
I think a lot of that smart glass thing hinges on the if it works well thing. So we'll see. And I did love how Trey Parker came out and made fun of that.
Yeah.
Just the sitting in your refrigerator controlling this and this.
Right. Well, that was another thing that was pretty cool. I think that was the most extensive look anybody publicly has really seen of the South Park game in action. Which looked really funny and definitely looks just like the show, like they've been promising from the beginning.
Yeah, certainly.
So that was cool.
And it's good because I think some people were wondering with the layoffs at Obsidian. They talked about layoffs on the active South Park team, so people were kind of worried about the status of that, but pretty clearly it's something that THQ is focusing on. So
one of the competitors, I think, potentially for even Game of the Show, after having seen it in action, Tomb Raider looked awesome.
It looked really good.
Despite the fact that Lara Croft looks like she's just beat up constantly.
They put her through the ringer in there.
They really do, but it was a really cool sequence of gameplay. We actually got to see some combat finally. We saw this cool sequence when she's stuck in the Whitewater Rapids and falls off down a waterfall.
And
it was really cool. I think that's going to be a game to watch this coming week as they continue kind of showing it off and all that kind of stuff. There were a couple other kind of weird announcements. Ascend New Gods from the guys who made Toy Soldiers, Matter, Loco Cycle, from the Twisted Pixel guys. So, we don't really know what these games are yet. They could be cool. but who knows?
Very different for Twisted Pixel. I mean, they've got Comic Jumper and Explosion Man and The Maw, and like very cartoony, vivid, silly games. And now we've got
like weird futuristic motorcycle thing.
Assassin motorcycle lady.
It's a robot. No one knows.
Yeah. So.
We saw that. There was a couple other weird things in there. Forza Horizon, which had been kind of rumored for a long time, almost looks like a Burnout style racer.
More arcadey. Yeah.
We saw some Splinter Cell Blacklist.
Oh, pretty cool.
Quite cool, kind of adding in a bunch of like almost Ubisoft's Assassin's Creed elements.
Like diving down from up on that thing. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that were kind of coming into the Splinter Cell kind of universe. We saw Resident Evil 6.
Yeah.
Right behind us there. It looks like that game should be pretty awesome. And they closed out with some Black Ops 2 stuff.
Yeah. I thought, I was really excited when they were saying like, oh, we want to close with one blockbuster and we've got exclusive DLC coming to Xbox again first. And I was like, GTA, we're going to see GTA 5, Rockstar's at E3. Like, I was so excited. And it's like, oh, it's the stuff we saw already.
So, I mean, my takeaway personally was that a lot of good stuff, a lot of strong games, but not a lot of surprises, which, Microsoft, you kind of want to, particularly as one of those big press briefings for one of the big console makers, at this point you kind of expect to get some surprise announcements and that kind of thing. And there wasn't a lot of that. And there definitely wasn't, I mean, one big thing that was not there was any hints about next-gen stuff.
Absolutely not.
Focus was very squarely on Xbox 360's future, Kinect's future, all that kind of stuff. So I think we can pretty clearly conclude that Microsoft's going to be totally in for the long haul on the 360 during the rest of 2012 and on into 2013.
And it looks like Kinect too.
Yes, Kinect is still a big deal for these guys.
Sweet.
So that's a takeaway. Well, we're going to be taking a look at all the press conferences today. There's a bunch of them. We got EA, we got Ubisoft,
Sony later,
and Nintendo's tomorrow.
Yep.
So everybody stay tuned in. We're going to have lots more coverage, news stories, more video throughout the day. Thanks for watching.